Guys, this is honestly starting to get a little bit like absolutely just insane, to be honest with you guys. I have finally surpassed 30,000 US dollars per month finally. So just real quick guys, I'm gonna throw some proof up on the screen. So I ended up the month, as you can see probably on the screenshot that I probably put up on like a screen recording, whatever I put up, you'll see that it says 22.9k British pounds. I'm not sure what that is in USD, but basically that's just Stripe alone. There's also PayPal, and I also had a straight bank to bank transfer just because a payment wouldn't go through, which kind of like turned out to be about 1.1k, just over 1.1k. So all in all, I've actually made 24,000 pounds in October. So from the start of October to the end of October, I finished off the month with 24,000 pounds, which is around 32,700 US dollars. I just did the conversion on my computer, which honestly guys, just insane, like literally just insane. There's literally no words for it at this particular point. Like life has definitely changed. People respect me more. Literally, there's so many people that come up to me in my cities or like when I'm out and about and stuff like that now. People literally walk up to me and literally start speaking to me about how crazy it is and how we used to go out like ages ago, and now that I'm kind of like blowing up and stuff like that, they've kind of like seen my journey, and they're really proud of me, and I'm inspiring and stuff like that. Guys, it's absolutely insane. I'm not in this video to kind of like brag or anything like that though, guys. I want to basically break down kind of like how I've done this, what you can learn from this, what you can actually take from this, and all that sort of stuff. So October's been a really awesome month for me. Right now we're actually in November. Technically, I'm recording this on the 2nd of November, so just bear with me with that. But September was my biggest month, right? At 20,000 pounds, it was actually 20.5k I actually made in British pounds. Then I went on, so that was September. Then October was my second month surpassing that 20,000 pound per month mark. I actually crossed 24,000 pounds, just slightly over 24,000 pounds. It's like 24,000 pounds and like maybe 50 pounds, something like that. So it's just slightly over basically. But that is actually, for, like I said, 32,700 USD, which is absolutely, like I said, just insane at this point. Like I literally can go on holiday. I'm not even joking, guys. I did the maths the other day. I literally can go on holiday for an entire like decade without needing to like making a single penny ever again. At this point, I'm literally just in it for, I guess, the personal growth, see how far I can actually take this. And of course, I to be honest with you guys, I honestly think I'm only just getting started, to be honest with you guys. I really want to get to that 100k per month mark. But guys, take a listen to this. This is something I'm pretty sure it's on all of your guys' vision board, because I actually put this on my Instagram story was it last night? Yeah, it was last night. So I was actually finally able to take my family out for an entire meal and just pick up the entire tab. Not that my parents liked it or anything like that. Well, as in, they didn't like it because I was like showing off or anything like that. They just didn't like it because obviously they love looking after me and stuff like that. Especially my stepmother and stuff like that. She's really like caring and wants to look after us and stuff like that. And it's funny because her and her parents used to argue about who pays the bill and stuff like that when she was kind of like younger, and her parents were, both her parents were still around and stuff like that. So it's actually ironic how like the tables are kind of turned, like literally, no pun intended. But guys, let's break down exactly how I've gone about doing this. So first and foremost, if you see me looking over here again, it's just because I've got some notes for you guys. I want to make sure that I've got everything off the top of my head. Sometimes I'm a bit sporadic and I go all over the place. But guys, take a listen to this. So first and foremost, how did I do this? Well, firstly, I just focus on two systems. It's literally only two systems within SMMA. Think about it. There's your client getting system, or your client attraction system, if you will, and then there's your client retention system. So all you have to do is figure out how to get clients, and then once you figured that out, you then figure out how to keep clients. See, a lot of people think that you need to do the Facebook ads first, and then Facebook ads this, Facebook ads that, create a fancy website, or like get a marketing degree, or do all this crazy stuff. Like all that is BS. Like registering your business, well, it's not legal advice, but you know what I'm trying to say, guys. You go out there and file an LLC if you need to, if you guys in America, but over here in the UK, you don't really need to register a limited company, if you will. You just need to literally register as a sole proprietor. But long story short, guys, a lot of people are focused on the back end stuff too much without even getting a client. Like, why are you worried about like Facebook ads? I understand it. They're like, oh, if I get a client, I won't be able to deliver results. But guys, what I need you to understand is that entrepreneurship within itself, SMMA within itself, is literally, I know this is so cliche, but it's literally about that saying where you jump out the airplane and you build your parachute on the way down. It literally feels so weird, so backwards, but you actually want to be backwards. First of all, what you want to do is you want to identify a problem. Then you want to figure out a solution to that problem. Then you want to offer that solution either yourself or get a team member to do it. I do recommend having a team member to do that. And then what you do is you just rinse and repeat. So again, 2 systems: client attraction system, client retention system. So first and foremost, you need to figure out how to set meetings consistently. If you don't know how to set meetings consistently, everything else is just secondary. Like if you can't even figure that bit out, you might as well just forget about the service delivery, that sort of stuff. Obviously, there's going to be that one guy in the comment like talking about, oh my god, why are you talking about forget Facebook ads? I'm not saying that. What I'm saying is the most important thing you should be focusing on as a beginner, keyword, key phrase, as a beginner, you need to figure out how to set meetings consistently. Now, what you will come to realize is that all these gurus in their programs skip over the outreach stuff, the lead sourcing stuff, the prospecting stuff. They teach it you, but they teach it you kind of very blandly, and they kind of just water it down, and they don't explain that it's like this, the lead sourcing, prospecting, first line writing, that within itself, and I keep screaming this to you guys, that within itself is like a 9-to-5 job within itself. Like, I'm not even joking. I would rather watch paint dry than do that sort of stuff. That is like a $10 an hour task. And if you're a beginner, it might need to get done if you don't know about the hybrid system, which is what I teach in Age of Transmutation, because there is a better way. There's an alternative. I call it the hybrid system. Now, lead sourcing, prospecting, and qualifying leads, like I said, is like a 9-to-5 job in itself. And then you've got the actual first line writing of the emails. Now, here's what you're going to do. You're going to quickly come to the realization that in SMMA, the key to SMMA is getting on lots of calls. If I'm being honest, lots of high quality calls, of course. Obviously, we don't just want calls with everybody. We want high quality calls coming in consistently. We need a full calendar, if you will. Now, the only problem with getting a full calendar is that in order to do so, you need to do lots of outreach. And if anybody tries to tell you anything different, it's BS. They're trying to sell you something. There is no way around it. Let's pretend that me and you are stood on a basketball court right now, right? And I shoot 1,000 shots at halfway line, and you shoot only 10 shots at the halfway line. Now, we're not talking about percentages made. We're just literally talking about who made the most shots in all. I'm always going to win that because I've taken 1,000 shots compared to your 10 shots, which basically what I'm trying to say there is, and of course, we also want to make sure the quality of these shots, obviously this is an analogy for your outreach. We want to make sure that the quality of outreach is obviously good as well. But the problem with that is that quality outreach at scale, here's the key, quality outreach at scale takes way too long. I literally had a message the other day, I am not even joking, on Instagram. A dude popped up saying he did 15 outreach messages, still using those slow ass Loom videos. I don't know why everybody kind of like goes crazy for Loom videos. In my opinion, they absolutely suck, especially as your first outreach kind of like message. They're good for follow-ups, but like for like your first actual outreach message, I feel like they're way too time consuming. Can't get your point across properly anyway, because you don't really know the metrics in somebody's ad account anyway. So long story short, this dude popped up saying he did 15 Loom outreach. It took him 10 hours to do that. That within itself is not scalable, guys. Nowhere near is that scalable. So this is where the hybrid system comes in. The hybrid system is, again, where you use a warmer traffic source. It could be Upwork, it could be another freelance website, it could be somewhere else where you're finding warmer leads, maybe like a Facebook group or something like that. But the long story short is you find a warmer traffic source where people actually want what you're trying to give them, instead of it being cold traffic, such as a cold email, for example. And what you do is you go out there and you actually either apply to the job or you just put your solution in front of them, if you will, and they bite at that. The reason why they bite at that is because if you imagine a sales funnel, at the top you've got like awareness, then you've got below that you've got interest turns into desire turns into action turns into, the actual purchase at the end as well. So what we're doing is, if you imagine the funnel, like I said, we're actually interjecting ourselves lower down the funnel, if you will, further down the funnel in the buying process. So we're actually skipping all of the hurdles above, where they may not even be aware of social media or like Facebook ads yet and that sort of stuff. So this is why cold emails are very difficult to master. I'm not saying that they're impossible, it's just very difficult to master. You need to send out a lot of them to actually compete with all these other gurus, because everybody's trying to use cold emails now and go after e-com brands or Facebook ads. So you definitely got to differentiate yourself in some way, shape or form, of course. Now, the way how you can go about doing that and just kind of like going straight through and just kind of like hammering your way through is obviously do lots of outreach. Now, the only problem, like I said, I keep mentioning, is that lots of outreach takes lots of time, especially first line writing and personalizing. And you do have to do first line writing. And what I mean by first line writing, if you guys are confused, is if you're new to the channel, is that like this. Take a listen to this. When you reach out to somebody, right, they get, I guess, hit up so many times, if you will, that they're completely just blind to what you're saying. So what you need to do is put some sort of extreme personalization in there. Now, here's what a lot of people do. They start SMMA, They get a cold email, which normally is their main domain. They don't even get a burner domain. They just use their main domain. They burn out their website. And then what they do is they go and scrape a whole bunch of leads, and they send a really random script using like Lemlist or something like that. And they think, oh yeah, this is going to be easy. I'm going to just be able to press a button. Money's going to roll in. I'm just going to have 4 sequences lined up, 5 sequences lined up in Lemlist. So if they don't reply, I can send over this sequence, and it doesn't work for them. And then they scream that SMMA doesn't work. It's oversaturated, this sort of stuff. If you're going to start an SMMA like that, there's no point even, there's literally in today's day and age, SMMA is changing, there's no point even doing that. What I recommend you do is personalize the hell out of all of your emails. That's the only way you can actually get around this. If you're doing cold emails, that is the only way you can get around this. If you're doing cold outreach in general, in fact, that's the only way you can get around this, which is doing like very personalized first lines. Let me give you an example of a first line. So I'll give you an example of a first line that's not personalized. One would be, hey John, just came across your brand X clothing on Google and saw that you was the CEO. That right there is not personalization. You may think it sounds like it's personalization because you mentioned the person's name, which is John, the company name, which was X clothing, and where you found them, which was Google. But I'm telling you, those are just free merge tags that you can actually switch out. A merge tag, by the way, is saying, you know, F name, for example, hey F name. So whenever you're using a software like Lemlist, you can actually have what you call a merge tag. A merge tag is basically like a placeholder where the software knows to basically pull in that person's first name when it sees the merge tag F name, if you will. So that's what you call a merge tag. So that's what I like to call merge tag trickery. Merge tag trickery is a little bit of a tricky word to say, or phrase to say. That doesn't work anymore. It may have used to maybe back in, I don't know, 2019, 2018, 2017 probably, but these days and age, it just does not work in 2021 for sure. What you need to do is have very, very personalized first lines, such as, hey Montel, came across your video on how you made 30K per month. Really love the point you made about the client attraction system and the client retention system. That makes the world of sense because you need to be able to get clients in and then retain them in order to stack up to, you know, 10K, 20K, 30K per month and 50K per month and beyond. That right there is a personalized first line. You've shown me that you've actually genuinely sat down and watched a video of mine, listened to a point, and then repeated that point back to me and said that, yeah, this is actually a great point. That right there is a complete nod to me and is unique to me and is specific to me, because I'm the only person on this planet, if you will, that's probably made a video at this particular point that's talking about me getting to 30K, that's, you know, all about how I did it with a client retention system, client attraction system, and client retention system. So as you can see, that's what you call a personalized first line. Now, a lot of you are probably rolling your head, your eyes in your head, if you will, and thinking, I understand that, but that takes way too long. Now, this is where and I agree with you, but this is where the hybrid system comes in. The hybrid system is where you stack up smaller ticket clients from a warmer traffic source. This gives you so much more experience, so much more sales experience. It allows you to increase your cash flow, and it gives you just an overall better kind of feel for how the SMMA industry works, because you will actually have multiple clients at this point. Now all you need to do is get 4 clients paying you $600 each. You outsource each one of those clients for $100 per month. So you're making $500 net per client. So you've got 4 clients, $500 each. That's $2,000 right there, net profit. Then what you can do with that net profit is you can take out, $400 $400 out of your $2,000, and then what you can do is you can implement and go and hire a first line writer or 2 of them. Now these 2 first line writers are going to do exactly what I've just done there, where they go out and they actually do research on each one of these business owners. They listen to podcasts, they read blogs, they watch YouTube videos of these people, and what they do is they use that and incorporate it into their first lines. And again, this is something I teach inside of Agency Trimutation. The spots are still open, by the way. It's exactly what I teach. And what that allows you to do is your personalized first line allows you to basically get your emails read. And once you've got your emails read, that's when people, because that's almost like your foot in the door, if you will, your icebreaker. It allows you to capture their attention because you're talking about them. People are only tuned into what's in it for me, FM. So when you're talking about them and how you love their podcast with somebody on the Joe Rogan podcast or whatever it is, you guys know what I'm talking about. You guys get the idea I'm trying to make, hopefully, surely. And then what that does is allows them to kind of continuously read on, and that's why people are actually reading my emails. I'm actually closing clients with email as well. So that's one of the main points right there. So client attraction. The way how I do that is I use the hybrid system. The hybrid system is going to beat you guys 10 times over. Doesn't even matter who you are, how good your scripts are, I will win every single time. The reason being is because you're only taking 10 shots a day. I'm taking 50 shots a day. 100 shots a day. I'm always gonna win. Not only that, but I can tweak better. I have more outreach going out. I can split test more just because I'm getting more volume out. The more volume you get, the more conversations you spark. The more conversations you spark, the more calls you get on. The more calls you get on, the more clients you're gonna land. The more clients you land, the more money you're gonna make. The more clients you can then retain, the more money you're going to make, and the longer you're going to make that. This is my second month now making 20K plus per month. We've actually grown as well, just slightly. So that's what I'm talking about when it comes to client attraction, client retention. Client retention is obviously making sure that your clients stay on. And that's all about how great your team is. I'm a big believer in getting a great team from the get-go. I do not, I had this conversation the other day with, I think it was actually yesterday. I asked the dude, right, do you really reckon Tim Cook, if you gave him a bar of iron, steel, glass, gold components, do you really think he could take that bar of gold, steel, melt it down, create an iPhone, and then go and program the software, the iOS software, into the phone all by himself? The answer is no. Literally no. If you answered yes to that, you need to do some more research on what a business actually is. But the whole problem, the whole point I'm trying to make here, excuse me, is that you don't need to know how to do every little nitty gritty thing at Facebook ads in order to offer Facebook ads as a service. You guys need to get your head out of that. In fact, that's very limiting and very beginner-ish beliefs, unfortunately. Anybody who believes that I can tell you right now, they're a beginner. And if they're not a beginner, they're probably in one of those Gary V kind of agencies where they've got like all clients all over the place. They've got like the profit margins are like 10% or something like that, and they're just doing it, trying to do it all themselves, and they just completely burn out. To be honest with you guys, they're all over the place, offering web design, they're offering SEO, they're offering all sorts of stuff, and they're hungry at the end of the day. So, long story short, guys, that's how I've been able to do it. And long story short, guys, the last thing I want to leave you guys with is just identify, just look at your business, right? Every time, if you've closed a client yet, or if you haven't, identify why you haven't, and then just do the opposite. Literally do the opposite. If your scripts are long, make them short. If your scripts talk about you, don't talk about you. Just literally look at what you're doing, because the opposite of failure is success. So if you've only failed up until now, then just do the opposite of what you've been doing. As in, like, if you've been talking too much in your emails, talk too little. If you have been using extremely formal language, use informal language. Don't just swear and stuff like that. If you've been talking about yourself and your agency, talk about them and their business instead. See, all you have to do is just look at what's failure is not a be all end all. Failure is just feedback. So take your feedback, do the opposite, because the opposite of poor is rich. So this is the kind of like mindset I had to go through as well. That, like, if you take a look around and you see most people don't actually have much. And if you actually take a look and see what most people do, it's a very similar path. They went to school, they went to university, they got a degree, they then end up with a job, they then got a mortgage, and then they got married. They got married or they got a mortgage, it doesn't matter, and then they had kids. It's the same story over and over and over and over again. I bet I just literally explained 99.9% of the population's life just right there. How is that possible? I can explain a person's life down to the T. And there's probably people watching this that are like, oh shit, yeah, you just explained my life. And then what happens is people get this job, they get the mortgage, they get a new car, they have a baby, financially trapped now. So that means they can't even think about starting a business because they're in their job in order to afford all these liabilities, if you will. And now they can't even think about starting a business because they've got too much financial resources, which is why I knew I didn't want a degree. I don't want no mortgage. I don't want no kids. I don't want to get married, that sort of stuff. I knew that those things were the traps. Those are specifically designed. So look at what most people have. Do the opposite of what most people, because most people are broke. So the opposite of broke is poor. So you have to do the opposite of what everybody else does. And when it comes to failures as well, take a look at your failures. Do the opposite of your failures. The point I'm trying to make though, guys, is if you already have a client though, take a look at what actually got you that client and then just do more of that. As in, like, if you've seen that one of the emails that you got that landed you a meeting, or even if you just landed a meeting, for example, just look at all the emails you sent that landed you a meeting. Identify what's similar, the similar traits between them, and then just do more of that. And that's how you actually get good at cold emails and how you split test. But guys, hope you've enjoyed this. 30K per month, absolutely insane, guys. Hopefully going on to 50, 60, 80K, 100K very, very soon. That is actually the goal. Probably going to start running ads for the agency very, very soon. I just need to figure out, crank out some more agent tramitation modules. The program is going to be absolutely beastie, to be honest with you guys. That is, I'm willing to bet that that's going to shut down this entire SMMA industry, because I can tell you right now, most of the gurus are still using the slow myip.ms methods of lead sourcing, or the slow Instagram algorithm hop where you find a brand and then you click on a little drop down and you find similar brands and you click on that and then you lead source that way. I have a very specific way of doing this, and it's called the reverse prospecting method, if you will. So it's a very, very different way how I go about doing this. But long story short, guys, hope you've enjoyed this. Hope you've learned something from me. Definitely go out there, take action, stay consistent, never give up and keep pushing. Believe me, I literally had negative £132.71 in my bank account literally like 3 years ago. Now I literally can go on holiday for an entire year without even needing to wake up. Literally, I can just literally sleep for a decade like this. Like what's the name again? Sleeping Beauty. I can literally do a Sleeping Beauty for 10 years. I don't want no Prince Charles coming to kiss me though. I don't want that. Anyway, guys, hope you're doing well, and I'll see you guys soon. Take it easy. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace.